thank you to the Patreon supporters of the What We Remember podcast. Stephanie O, Nathan E, Jacqueline M, Matthew J, Paul and Sandy J, Sarah P, aka Situational Daddy on Instagram, and Big Time Jim. I would like to read some more names at the beginning of our episodes, and the only way I can do that is if you go to patreon.com/whatweremember and sign up to help support the show. Thanks. You gonna spill all that water again?
I think it's gone.
Oh,
Let's find out.
Oh, why would you do that?
Wow. Just pour it all over Brad's
I had to find out.
Man, I need to drink
Recorder.
so much water. It's hot.
It's
Dude,
been blazing.
I've been going through like a ton.
Oh,
I'm
wow,
finally
wow.
drinking whatever the Surgeon General recommends you drink a day. It's like 2 liters.
A pack
or
of
something.
cigarettes? What's
A pack of cigarettes, yeah. That's how much you got to drink.
Drink 2 packs.
Take a pack out.
a day.
What else does the
Dunk it
Surgeon
in some
General
water.
tell us to do?
Smoke a pack.
Smoke a pack
smoke-
a day.
smoke-
Smoke
pack,
a
bro.
Smoke them if you got them. Hey, no smoking.
Unless you
Smoke
got
them
them.
if you got them.
There's 2 rules.
All right, that's a Stella joke. I can't steal that.
Oh man.
Oh, it's in the podcast now.
All right, no one knows what Stella is anyway.
From Marlon Brando and On the Waterfront.
Stella!
Stella Artois. That's what we're talking about. Drinks.
Yes.
Do you got cool? What do you drink? Water? Ice water. I love ice water right now.
Yeah, cold water.
Unsweetened tea with some ice in it.
I don't-
Ice it up.
I don't put ice in it, but I get it cold out of the fridge and I put it in one of those vacuum tumblers, so it
Yeah.
it stays really
This
cold. all day.
guy I have stays like the whole night. You can
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
yeah.
Be great.
This guy too. It's stainless steel inside, so you put coffee in there if you wanted to, or water. And
Miracle
the
about our
outside
science.
is f***ing hot because it's black.
It absorbs all the light.
Exactly. So that was a bad choice, but I like this. Yeah.
My name is Bradley Jones.
My name is Andrew Moldenhauer.
My name is Andy Hubert.
And this is not a movie review podcast, but a podcast where we try to remember what happened in a movie that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And this is what we remember about Small Soldiers?
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember. Whoa! Huh! Come on.
Does the song play in this movie?
I don't know, but it probably should. Shouldn't it?
Out the gate with some hot takes coming
Shouldn't
in.
it? Shouldn't it
I
start
would
with
think,
that song?
You'd think so, right?
I've seen this movie once in theaters and maybe like
Yeah.
partially
You saw
on
this in
television.
theaters?
I saw this in theaters.
You both are dorks. You bunch of dorks.
This
Hey,
came out in
movie
what,
looked cool.
99? This
Yeah.
was huge. My grandpa took me to this, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think I saw this in theaters, but I definitely saw it on TV. And
What, like a loser?
I mean,
TBS,
Yes, I was a loser. I don't know what.
the Bonehead station.
It's very funny, Brad.
I know I am, but what are you?
Oh, sick burn, dog.
But I didn't have AC, speaking of being hot, and
Yeah.
my mom would just like drop us off at the mall and we'd go see a movie and the AC would just be
Oh,
so
man.
hot.
Yeah,
You're watching
yeah,
a
yeah.
movie in the summertime and you're just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is so
now
good.
we have the issue where you have the leather seats in every
Ooh.
theater, so it's nice and cold, but then your back gets all
sticky.
sweaty.
all sticky. Yeah, you get
I
peeled up
have-
off of that thing.
I have tried, a couple times I've been successful, but one time I went to the movie theater because I was like, okay, they're going to have AC there, and it's hot as
Yeah,
balls
when you have like a
out.
power
yeah,
outage
yeah.
at your house or something, that's the place to go.
They were like, all right, we'll sell you this ticket for this movie, but our AC is out.
Oh,
And I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
Plans have been foiled.
You
Yeah.
immediately just walk in and just walk right out.
I did.
What
I
movie
did.
was it though?
Oh, I can't remember. This was years ago.
I wish it had been something that you like. I should have gone to see that movie. It was
Ice
really,
Age.
Turns out it was really good.
That'd have been
Ooh,
ironic.
That would have been too ironic.
Don't you think?
Wouldn't it be ironic?
A little too ironic. So, Andy Moldenhauer, who's in this film?
Gregory Smith.
The only characters I remember from this movie are the actual small soldiers.
Oh, really?
I don't remember
Yeah,
any
you
of
got
the
Tommy
human
Lee
actors.
Jones.
That's
you got
the one I know.
Kirsten Dunst.
Nope, don't remember them.
Christina Ricci does a voice as one of the Barbie dolls.
Oh, this guy.
I know that
This is
'cause I
why-
hear
This is why you're at the
this
theater
guy.
in the 90s.
had to look at her IMDb page.
Do we need to talk about Casper? We need to talk
We gotta
about
talk
Casper.
about
Another day.
We gotta make him talk about Casper.
Stop it.
I also know that Jay Moore and David Cross are in the film because
As
they play
themselves?
nerdy scientists
Perfect.
who work
yes.
on the small soldiers.
Okay.
Is just random idea is wow, what's the Blade guy's name?
Wesley Snipes?
Is he in this? Is he one of the guys?
I don't know.
As a voice or as a
As a voice.
Well, there's
As
a
voice.
group of alien toys and there's a group of soldier toys.
Oh my god, I literally forgot about that.
And I feel like they each have like unique voices. I do think
do.
some of the alien toys maybe don't even talk or they just mumble.
Yeah, or they like speak something weird maybe
Yeah.
because they're the Gorgonites.
Oh! What a pull. What a pull.
What?
TBS.
Did you watch this on TBS yesterday?
It's very funny. Okay.
This movie's
hope we
not
got
very
paid.
funny.
No,
It's
I
actually
only-
kind of
I
scary.
hope we got paid for that.
I only remember because they like the thing that stuck in my head was just the very initial twist of they're like we need to pick 2 lines of toys to like create a world out of. So like, all right, we got the soldiers who are the good guys and these weirdo alien toys as the bad guys. And like the creator guy's like, but the Gorgonites are good. They would not be mean to the soldiers. And so like when
this is like a pitch meeting?
when
Yeah.
when they come to life,
Jay Moore and David
the
Cross are in
Gorgonites
this.
are the good guys and the soldiers are the bad guys. Like so it flips it around on
Oh
you.
my god, I forgot about that too.
Now, these guys are soldiers, right? And what do soldiers need?
Hats? Camouflage?
Miss Kegel?
Enemies, sir.
Enemies. See, these hideous, ugly freaks. These guys are the enemy, and our guys have to seek them out and vaporize them.
Well, no, they're not. Sir? Don't you think that's a bit violent?
Exactly. So don't call it violence. Call it action. Kids love action. It sells. Besides, what are you worried about? They're only toys.
They're working on like some super secret microchip
Yes.
that makes
Yeah,
things super
wasn't that
smart.
what happened? Was like the military made some microchips that
was the
like
toy
somehow
company.
Yeah, it was a toy company.
Oh,
just
they
they
did it?
accidentally invent an AI chip.
I
or
thought
something.
so.
Yeah, and they
in '99.
just cram
Yeah.
them into. There's probably a bit where like one of the scientists is like, "No, we can't. It's not ready yet. We're still figuring it." And they're like, "Put it in the toys."
This gets reused in the Child's Play remake that came out last year.
Oh.
He gets like a super smart AI chip put in his brain to make him an
course.
evil Chucky.
Yep.
So
there you
he's
go.
not no longer like the serial killer in Chucky's body.
No.
He's just
It's
a
like a-
crazy robot.
Yeah. It's way worse. It's a way worse idea.
Clearly.
So he's just a robot then.
Yeah, he's a robot.
Well, that's lame.
Yeah. It's actually an okay film. But it is lame. That change is lame. Why would
Yeah.
you change that part?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
And I feel like this movie kind of like was brought up like Puppet Master. You guys watch Puppet Master?
I did. Yeah.
It's like an
I think it's so
evil
bad.
toy puppet things.
Yep.
They were
One of them has like a flamethrower.
Oh man.
One of them has like a knife. They just
Yeah.
like stabs your ankles.
And
I
this
think.
is just like a high blockbuster version of a Puppet Master movie. Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
it's
it's kind of like a Homer-esque type movie too, because they're kind of like locked in the house with the small soldiers,
yeah.
right? So it's kind of like whatever that Kevin Spacey movie is, where the
Andy
kids,
can't say his name.
well, whatever,
Mr. Spacey.
where the kids like lock, or maybe it's Kevin Pollak actually.
No, it is Kevin.
I think
Pollak.
I'm actually thinking of 2 movies. I think that are,
House Arrest.
House Arrest is one of them. Is that the one with
How is
Jennifer?
there another one?
No, I think there is another movie that's similar to it.
Oh,
Man,
There's one with Kevin Spacey, and I think there's one with Kevin Pollak.
the Kevin movies.
We gotta
it's
get
like
to
the
the bottom
volcano
of this.
Dante's
Write
Peak
this
of,
write this down. We got to revisit this in part 2.
House
gonna be
Arrest is
important.
one of them. Who's in that one?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And Kevin Pollak.
Okay, so that's that one.
Yeah. And
Is Jennifer Love Hewitt in it?
Jennifer Love Hewitt is in that one.
And
Are we talking about that movie now? Are we switching gears? What's happening?
no, we can go back. We can go back. Andy's looking it up now.
No, I'm writing down this note because I want to come back to this.
I think there's a second one with Kevin Spacey.
So I think all of the toys have this like super smart microchip in them.
The Gorgonites and the small soldiers.
Yes.
But a shipment gets leaked early. Like one goes out too early.
I think so. They like they have them in a box, and it actually gets mixed up with a shipment to
Yeah.
a toy store.
And it's a small town toy store.
Does a kid work there?
I think
at the store.
I think the 2 kids.
No,
I think they're brother
well,
sister.
I don't think they work at the toy. I think they're like dad owns the toy store. Or
Are they
something,
brother
and-
sister or are they?
I think they're like potentially boyfriend girlfriend, but they never get to that point.
I thought they were like. I thought it was the neighbors where like the boy likes the girl, and like they're friends, and
Yeah, I think it is that
Yeah.
exactly. They're
I think
not
it's
in
one
a
of those.
relationship, but it's like
they
I see.
like each
He
other,
likes
but they
her,
haven't gotten
for
there.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And his grandpa or dad owns like this toy store that's sort of failing. It's like
doesn't
only
sound
selling like wooden
familiar.
toys, you know?
Oh,
Like-
okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
push toys.
So where'd
and
they get
stuff.
this AI?
Yeah, but he gets this, like, super
upgrade
shipment.
He gets this
Yeah.
accidental shipment of these
Of super
secret
toys.
toys.
Like he wasn't supposed to get those from whatever random toy company.
Or like maybe like the grandpa's like so old fashioned, and then like the son of him, like and the main kid's dad, like comes in and is like, well, I know what we need. We need these new toys to put on the shelves. And he goes out of his way, like goes behind the grandpa's back to order the toys.
It could
I
be.
could be making up a lot.
Yeah,
of
none of
stuff
this
here.
sounds familiar
Yeah.
to me.
But they like the toys get brought back to. I don't know if they're brought back to the house. Or they find them in the toy store.
They're in the toy store. At least like one of them gets out.
They cut
they
out. They
wake
cut
up.
themselves out of
Yeah,
their own
yeah.
plastic. They're in like the Barbie doll type, like
Yep.
square box with the clear plastic
yeah,
on
with
the
little
front.
twisty ties holding them in.
For
Yeah.
sure, the soldier guys cut themselves out of boxes.
They do.
But the alien race is still locked up, I think.
Could be. Could
I feel
be.
like the kid, like one of the main kid, likes the Gorgonites, so he like is like, oh, I like these guys. And
I think he
leaves the
might like Army
soldiers.
Man first because he doesn't.
Oh,
they're not
maybe.
talking to
Aren't
them
there like
yet.
Yeah.
scenes where he does like model painting? Like he's like in his room,
Oh,
like
could be.
painting. Like
Maybe,
it doesn't add to
yeah.
the story, but like maybe he likes action figures somehow or some way.
Yeah, I buy that.
or-
Yeah,
Is he like crazy young? Is he like 8 years old? Or is
No,
he,
no, no. He's like
teenager?
like
They're,
16.
Like, yeah, they're like teens.
They're like 16.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst
a few
would have
years
been
after
like-
Jumanji, like 2
Yep,
years, 3
the
years.
4
after?
years.
Does the main guy have
4
a
years
younger
later.
sister? Maybe though. Like I
Could
think there is
be.
like a bit with Barbies at some point.
Oh,
in
that
this.
makes sense. If she's
There
like
is a
a
bit
little.
with Barbies because Christina Ricci.
Oh, that's right.
does
Oh, yeah.
the
You did say
voice
that.
So one of the
them.
microchips ends up in a Barbie, and like whatever toy. This
No, I
microchip's
think what
in comes
happens is
alive?
the small soldiers enlist the Barbie dolls by like
That's true.
working on them, and they're like Toy Story esque Barbie dolls. I think they like they look horrifying.
Okay,
I believe.
interesting.
I believe I might be mixing up.
I
Toy
like this
Story.
idea, but
but it's like the small soldiers create them to be a part of their army.
yeah,
Did this come out after or before Toy Story?
This came out after.
this would have been after.
Okay.
This came out like 98.
I feel like it should have came before.
I think this
I think it was-
literally came out in
I think
1998.
it's problematic that it came out after Toy Story.
I mean, it came out a while after.
In the
'cause
same
Toy
way,
Story was like 92,
95.
93? Oh, was it? Okay.
It came out 3 years later.
in the same way, E.T. came out right before The Thing came out.
Yeah.
people like
Yeah,
didn't
that was
want-
2 years.
People didn't want to see a scary
1
alien
year.
movie because
Yeah.
they just saw an E.T. And I feel like people didn't want to see a scary toy movie because they just seen Toy Story. I feel like kind of just
Maybe,
screwed up the perception.
yeah.
People
Toy
weren't ready
Story
for
wasn't
this movie
really
yet.
scary though.
Well, I'm saying people
There were
don't
parts-
want a scary
No,
movie.
when you see a not so scary version, you don't want the scary
you don't
one.
want it. You want to go back to the old
like, no,
version.
I
You want
like
to
the
see
happy
E.T.
one.
You
Yeah,
don't want
I
to watch
see.
The Thing.
I thought E.T. was a terrifying movie when I
It
first
is
saw
kind
it.
of scary.
yeah, like the scene where they're like bringing in the
Oh my gosh, the
hazmat
government
suits.
guys, yeah.
That part scared me.
Or
as
just
a
a
kid.
scene where like E.T.'s head flies up. He's like, meh. I was like, nope,
Oh,
kill
yeah.
it.
Are there scenes on YouTube where they like remove the music from E.T. and it is a horror film?
Yeah,
It's straight up
That's
scary.
a great one to recut the trailer for. Where you make
I
a
bet that
horror
would be
vision.
terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one scared. This movie scared me.
I think it's a
There's a lot,
it's
there's a lot happening in this
it's probably
film.
not as scary now, but like as a kid, like
Yeah. So the main conflict between the toys is the backstories that their creators give. I'm wondering if it's two competing toy developers. Like what the jerk guy, kind of like Big.
Yeah,
There's like jerk guy who's got his
So-
hero soldier line.
So Jay
And the
Moore
cool guy
is
that-
like the money grubbing guy
Yeah.
who like, wants to push out the toys. They want to
Kids
make
want
them like
soldiers.
smart and
They're
aggressive as
heroes.
possible. David Cross plays like the Weasley
Yeah.
guy who
He's
wants
like,
wants the
"They're-
best thing for
They're
them.
sensitive aliens. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And so they wake up and they each have their goal. The soldiers need to kill their Gorgonites. That's like their entire thing. And the Gorgonites have to like find their home planet or something.
Yeah, they just want to go home. I
Yeah.
think.
And so yeah, they're just trying to like, help, please let us just get to our home. These guys want to kill us.
are they kind of like the Galaxy Quest type aliens in a way? Like they're
Isn't the main
they're
one like
very
a
friendly. They're
yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, the main one's
not
like it's like a
confrontational.
cat person or something, right? It's like, yeah. But yeah, they're very, they're kind of pacifist and just like all we want to do is they think like they see like a poster of like a park or something and they're
It looks like their
"That's-
home."
Yeah, that's our home.
I think there's a scene too where all the small soldiers rip apart the Gorgonites and reassemble them into like weird ways, like their hands coming out of their head.
I think
and
one of
heads
them
coming
gets
out of
like
their leg.
killed or kidnapped and changed.
Yeah.
by
Okay.
them.
What now?
That also happens in Toy Story.
I mean,
Ooh.
like maybe you are right that like there's a store or a toy store that maybe they own or the kid works at, because I don't really understand why the small soldiers hunt down the boy. Like it seems
To
like
get
that's
the
what they're-
Gorgonites.
He's harboring the.
He has the Gorgonites, and they're like,
Why does he have the Gorgonites?
Because he just does.
He just
They're
he,
just toys.
he liked them and
they
took them
talk
home
to
or
him.
something. Yeah,
the toys talk.
He befriended them.
Yep. He shows them off to Kirsten Dunst, and she thinks they're really cool. And it's just them trying to like figure out how to
So-
protect these toys and like what's going on.
So does he buys them from the store?
He just takes them. I'm pretty sure, or they just break out of their cases. I think he hears
I'm
like
kind of remembering
They,
this.
like,
there's like
stow
a
away in a
message
backpack
that
or
keeps
something?
playing from like the main Gorgonite.
Oh, maybe
Or something like that, or maybe
sounds
even
good.
from the Tommy Lee Jones. Like there's a phrase, and like the phrase changes, then all of a sudden like it starts talking like a person. Like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah,
Wow, you guys are pulling a lot of like memories out.
I like it.
It's not really still
Yeah.
yet completely making it all come together in my head.
Oh, sure.
So yeah.
We might have to just start
So
plotting
the
this out.
soldiers, well, the soldiers track down the kid to his house,
Mm-hmm.
but they like can't get inside, so they hatch this plan
Yeah,
to
I think
kidnap
they're, like,
Kirsten Dunst to like
Oh.
force the kid to like come force him to go to them to get her back or save her or something. And with the
Okay.
Gorgonites, I think.
And I think maybe like that's where they get her Barbie dolls to
Maybe.
attack her and
That
tie
could
her
be.
up.
Maybe.
Because I think that's what happens. There's like a scene where there's like tons of Barbie dolls and oh yep. Kirsten Dunst is like in her room, and then all of a sudden a Barbie doll like jumps on her shoulder and she's like freaking out and throwing it, and then like all these other Barbie dolls start entering her room, like coming towards her, and she's like panicking.
oh man,
So yeah,
that's
They-
good.
they
This is
tie
gonna be
her up
good.
right there.
It's gonna be good.
Tommy Lee Jones is an angry man, and he scares me in this film. He is relentless.
In this film or every film? Because that's Tommy Lee Jones in
Sometimes
every film.
he's a softie.
Well, that's true. Okay,
You know,
fair
he's a
enough.
man of the house sometimes.
he's doing a little
We
bit
need to
of the
do. We
fugitive
need to
here.
do that movie for this podcast.
We talk about it so much.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god!
But I'll do
it's
it.
great.
I'll do it.
It's great.
I'll do it. I know what movie you're talking about.
I can guess what happens in it.
It's that cheerleading movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it on.
Speaking of bringing it on,
This is like a year before Bring It On.
That's
too.
true. There you go.
the toy soldiers do have just toy guns and things.
Yes.
And they eventually trade those in for real weapons.
Yes, first mission was to like
Whoa!
upgrade their. They like build a flamethrower. The scariest one is the nail gun.
No,
Oh
God.
my god! They like rig it so that there's no safety, and it's just shooting nails, automatic all the time. It's horrifying.
It's just too scary for a kids movie.
Yeah,
That's why
it-
Puppet Master exists,
Dude,
to be
to
R-rated.
this day, if
It is
someone
Puppet
gives me a
Master.
nail gun, I'm like, I don't trust this thing.
There's like super buff soldiers,
Yep.
and like there's like a spy soldier, and there's like a demolition guy who like always blows himself up, I think.
Yeah, the
And
main
the
the main guy
Gorgonites-
kind of has like what? Like he looks like an orc a little bit. Doesn't he have like a jaw with like teeth coming out or something
For
like
the
that?
soldiers or for the
No, for the Gorgonite.
No, the main guy's like a cat.
He's
guy.
very specifically looks like an Avatar person.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah, exactly. He does look like an Avatar person.
I'm like
But brown, I
vaguely remembering things.
There's probably
but I
one
might be
that
like
does.
pulling-
Thundercats.
There probably is one that looks like what you're saying though, because I mean they all
Yeah.
look kind of unique. And
There's
different.
some goofy looking
there's, like-
Gorgonites.
Yeah.
There's like a guy with like he's like a bigger stout one with like a weird back thing.
Yeah.
I think like a hunchback guy. And I think there's like a super smart scientist guy.
Okay.
I forget like who the makeup of the Gorgonites is. I think one just doesn't even ever talk,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
or he's
I
like
think-
mumbling.
Instead of like him being into painting models, I think there's a scene where he's actually repairing a Gorgonite and it's like moving its head and talking to him. And,
I like that.
That
One
makes
gets
sense.
destroyed.
and he's like
and he has
he's
to
like
fix it again.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
screwing things on with the chip and everything.
maybe
and it's like
discovers the
talking
chip,
to
yeah.
him and
Discovers the microchip.
I don't know what they're talking about though, but I remember this scene.
Yeah.
Is there a point where they like call a number on like the back of the box or something like that? Because Jay Moore and David
Yes.
Cross eventually get invested into what's happening. They go to the town.
Yeah, I think
makes sense.
they're,
Try to cover
they're
what's
tracking them
up.
down because
Yeah.
they're trying to get the toys back because they were never
Right.
supposed to. They find out there's like this horrible
the
defect.
shit that went like loose with
Yeah, and
the
that they're-
microchips in them.
Now you have like the small soldiers are in there fighting to also like take Greg, whoever his character is, like the main character, trying to take him
Yeah.
hostage too.
I don't know if they get like a bigger plan other than killing Gorgonites, like to take over the world.
Maybe.
I think their plan is to take over the world.
Something like that might happen.
yeah.
And that there has to be moments in this movie where he's trying to tell his parents or his grandpa like what's going on, and like no one believes him.
Yeah.
Or, like they go out of town and he's home alone.
I think that
I
does
think
happen
that's-
in the weekend. Like maybe even the soldiers set it up that way, but yeah,
think
the
the
kid's
Gor-
alone.
I think he's telling one of the Gorgonites to talk and he just won't talk.
Because I think there is a bit
refuses
like
to do
after
it.
the battle when the parents show back up and like their house is wrecked,
Completely
and,
destroyed.
Like, yeah, like, all this, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And because at the very end, it involves like the toy guys show up in like a helicopter, and they're basically just like, "Sorry about that. Here's some money," and like take off. I feel they like
Oh.
collect their toys and get out of there.
That's
I'm pretty
good.
Sure.
And the little Deus Ex Machina.
cover up that money.
But I bet there's one last bit where like the head Gorgonite like stays with the kid or something,
Or they eventually all go to whatever the poster is, like
or maybe
Utah or something. Well, they drop them
Right.
off in like a area
be- yeah,
that's okay. to like live off the rest of their time. I think all of the
and
army
the soldiers
soldier
get dropped
guys-
into a theater of war to help the U.S. military.
Yeah, that might happen. Or like they
So
get taken
weird.
back. I'm not sure what happens. like,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Maybe they just get deprogrammed. We're not going to make these
The
anymore.
small soldier, the
yeah.
Tommy
Yeah.
Gun soldiers.
Yeah,
maybe.
we have to get rid of these.
But definitely the Gorgonites like have a happy ending. I'm almost positive.
I would assume so.
They get like dropped off in a box somewhere, and a place looks like their home, and they just live off the rest of their days.
The Matrix.
Yeah, those little puppets in the desert or whatever they're from.
trying to
There's
think.
more to talk about.
There's
for
so much more.
Yeah.
The big
Bananas.
backyard brawl.
There's
that
a
happened.
backyard brawl?
Oh, there's like
The whole
all
fight,
sorts of things are happening. The last 30
is,
minutes
like,
of the film.
bonkers, man. It's like Home Alone, but like
I was gonna
lethal.
ask.
Like it's because they
There's scary
all the
war
weapons
music
are crazy
playing, yeah.
improvised stuff. Like I'm sure they're like chucking knives with catapults and stuff.
I'm sure
and-
Tommy Lee Jones gives a couple inspirational speeches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure like there's a baseball bat that gets pulled out and they're like smashing small soldiers left and
Yeah,
right.
sure. Humans take the sides of the Gorgonites and try to defend them.
I think too there might be an idea that like the Gorgonites know that they're always going to lose to the small soldiers. Like the Gorgonites are
With
very
their story,
pessimistic.
probably.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're like, well, we can't win. They're just too good. Or we weren't meant to win.
Maybe it even gets meta. Yeah, they're like, we know how the story ends or something. Like
I think so.
We're going to get
man.
hunted down. Just
Brutal.
a matter of time. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Scary.
Yeah,
Or they're like,
I think
"We're
they,
supposed to
they've
be the
accepted
bad
their like
guys."
terrible fate, which doesn't help because
Well,
like
and-
he's got to fight the small soldiers all by himself. Then
right, and I'm sure at the very least they're all like, you don't put yourself in danger for us. We'll surrender ourselves and let them kill us or something even. And he's just like, God, no, that's
We'll
horrible.
protect you.
yeah. Oh, that opens up something too. Like, don't they set up one of the Gorgonites as like a trap? Like
Maybe.
they put him out there and go
Could be.
like you could take him or whatever.
Oh, the soldiers set him up as a trap. Like they captured.
no, I think-
Oh, because I was thinking like maybe they're using him as bait. But
One way or the other might happen.
maybe-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I was right. I was thinking it was more like the human characters
Okay.
set up a Gorgonite as bait.
Okay.
There is definitely a lot of military strategy happening.
There is.
with,
Yeah.
like, the Tommy Lee Jones side of things.
Yeah. He's definitely saying like move out a bunch during this whole thing. He's got to give like some inspirational speech near the end before they go into the final.
Oh, yeah.
There's some like American hoorah type speech.
Go get them.
He's talking about like the day that they landed on like the beaches in Normandy.
We cut ourselves out of those boxes and
Right.
went onto this world.
right.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I
with
can't
Small
say I
Soldiers?
know much more about
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah. I know one more thing.
Oh,
Directed by Joe Dante.
this is a good one.
Of Gremlins and the Birds.
Oh,
That
okay,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Holy cow!
I think it was his last Hollywood film.
Because the fight
Oh,
where,
wow.
where they're gearing up,
But-
it feels very
It was a
Gremlins.
good one, though.
Because again, like in
Didn't make
Gremlins, when
money.
they're putting
It
weapons
didn't make
together.
money.
It didn't do well.
You and I saw it.
I know. I was the only one
Well,
in the
that's
theater.
Tragedy.
$14 right there.
I think I went to like a $5 show.
Oh, jeez, Brad.
That you're the reason.
I matinee.
Well, you didn't want Joe Dante to direct anything else?
I do want him to direct things, but
He literally hasn't done any other Hollywood movies?
I don't think so.
Has he done any other movies?
He may have done one or two that just slipped through the cracks in my brain.
Could
But
be.
he's
In the
done
2000s.
some amazing movies. Why? Never mind. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's got Gremlins vibes. There's like music
sure.
playing through this whole thing, setting up the tone of stuff, you know?
Yeah,
How does
what-
the
what-
CG look? Does it look good? Are these little soldiers looking
Well,
good or
I
are they
mean,
looking weird?
this-
I think
I
it did
think-
look good.
I bet it looks fine. I mean, the idea, the whole reason that Toy Story is because Pixar was like, all our animation looks like plastic. They're like, oh, well then let's just make them plastic. That's problem solved. And so, I mean, this is a couple years down the road. They've had time to develop that tech. I'm sure they look convincing enough.
I bet
as
it's going to
toys.
look good for its time.
Yeah.
But it's not going to look great.
Now the interactions with humans, who knows? It may be that
Well, they've had
a
time to
weird
work on
perspective
that,
or
you
stuff
know,
like that. Yeah,
depends if Joe Dante got it right, but
we'll have to see.
You got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that's like,
yeah, Space
that's
Jam.
hard to act. Space Jam didn't work.
Well, there are a lot of scenes where I think just like the toys are just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all digital. We're just like shot with plates.
Yep.
And then CG action figures put on.
I'm wondering too if it's like all CG all the time, or if they had like
Oh,
real dolls too that they could set in.
That's a good question.
I would have to believe that. Yeah, they have some like
mix.
physical
There's a mix.
stand-ins for, or you can like hold them and then they just CG like a head or arms or something. You know.
I bet they're like real when they're in the box.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be easy to do too, because you could pop the head off.
Yep.
Or
You just have them hold
coat
an
it in
actual plastic
green
part
or-
that doesn't need to move. And
I feel like a big misstep
That's probably what they actually did.
for this film is that it's a story all about action figures, and I never once saw a Small Soldiers toy.
no marketing tie-ins.
My entire life.
Wow.
That's why I failed.
Clearly not a Disney movie. This would have been everywhere.
Well, I think it was just too scary. I don't
Yeah.
think kids
I mean,
wanted to
is
get
this?
these
I mean, is this
toys.
PG-13? I'm guessing it would have to
Probably,
be, right? 'Cause it's
Probably.
gotta be
I'm sure
pretty
there's some
violent
like
for
swear
non-
words in there.
I don't
Yeah.
think the good guys are like likable enough, and then the bad guys are just too mean.
I think the stakes might be too high.
It could be like
The stakes are pretty high. I think they try to like blow up the house at one point.
Oh, wow.
The house
It got,
catches
like-
on. Like I said,
it
they
gets,
make
like,
a flamethrower
crazy.
and like catch part of the
Turn
house
the oven
fire
on and light
blow
something
parts
up.
Yeah, they blow some stuff up.
Turn into Final Destination up in this. I got nothing else.
yeah. Let's watch it.
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Time to go.
There's a lot of
been
questions.
since the Page Master.
Seriously.
So let's see what we got right and what we got wrong.
Soldiers, no poor sap ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by being all that he can be. Damn the torpedoes, or give me death. Eternal vigilance is the price of duty. And to the victors go the spoils. So remember, you are the best, of the few, and the proud. So ask not what your country can do for you, only regret that you have but one life to live. The war against the Gorgonites will be won. Uh-oh. Commando Elite, let the first shot be fired. Search out the Gorgonites and frag them all.
Welcome back to the Movie Reference Podcast. We watch Small Soldiers, which is nothing but movie references.
You got upset about some
It's
of the
just too
movie
many.
references.
They just keep hitting you over the head with them.
There's maybe like 10 lines of original dialogue in this movie.
The rest is like homage to some old
All these
movie from
war
the 70s
movies.
to the 1930s.
Every single war movie, they Googled up and they figured out quotes from those movies and just stuck them in their movie.
Like some of them are funny. Like they do
No.
the
None of them are funny.
the Patton bit was funny, where he's giving the speech
Funny?
in front of the flag. Like I was like, this is fun. But then it was just like that, but for the rest of the movie too. And I was like, no thanks.
Too much.
Pass.
Too much
I don't know
movie
if that
references.
scene was funny per se.
Stand on your own 2 feet, little small soldiers.
But the Gorgonites had more than that. They had a lot of feet.
Don't stand on the backs of giants.
Whoa.
That's see, maybe that was.
you
a movie
pull that
reference.
from the movie?
That might have been a movie reference.
What
for all I
reference?
know.
What movie does that reference?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So the writer director is the guy who did Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Did Joe Dante write this? I didn't see that he wrote it.
I thought he was credited with like 6 other people. There was
Oh,
like
okay.
a big writing group, but
Yeah, he directed it for sure.
he definitely directed it. And it sounds like it was like a passion project from what I was like reading. Like he was genuine, like, I can't wait. This is gonna be really good.
I know you said passion project, but I would argue it's a patch-in project because they kept on trying to put different like moods into the movie, where it was like for kids and for adults and like for teenagers, and like it was a patchwork.
Yeah,
of
it
all
was-
sorts of stuff,
It
trying to
was a
please every audience.
Frankenstein's monster of a movie.
And there's a literal Frankenstein's monster in this movie.
It's true.
And he did acknowledge that because he talked about like originally they wanted an edgy teen movie, and then like at some point during production, they got Burger King to sign on for some merchandising deals, and
Oh my
Burger King
gosh.
was like, PG-13's a little old for us, so suddenly they had to like turn it into a kids movie
Sold
that's
out.
not edgy, and so you end up with both, and it's
Did this turn out to be PG?
I don't
It still
even
seems
know. I think it's still
PG-13.
PG-13, but they like
just
tried
toned
to
down some
they tried
of
to
it?
tone it down at the last minute, and
Kids Club does not like that. Wasn't
Apparently.
that the Burger
yeah,
King?
Burger King Kids Club,
Yeah.
yeah.
We can't have small soldiers blowing each other up and stabbing each other's fingers.
Was there a kid's toy thing from a drive-through McDonald's type restaurant that you guys liked or wanted? I remember McDonald's having the Mario ones. Those are pretty fun, but like
They didn't always have toys. Even
I wasn't in-
sometimes they had like glass cups.
I didn't
and-
care about the toys.
I feel like
I cared. Cups were cool.
my parents correctly read the situation because we would always be like, we want to go get fast food because it tastes great and because we get toys. My parents were like, you play with the toys for 10 seconds and then they're garbage, and then we have a tub full of garbage toys.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely right. We played with those things for like 10 minutes and then we're like, this is stupid.
If you ever go to a garage sale in the 90s, there were just bins of
Oh my
those
God.
toys.
Yep.
No matter what garage sale you
And
went
they were
to.
usually the wind-up ones that just like walked.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is stupid. I don't need this.
There was so many weird collectibles. Like, you could also get the stuff out of cereal boxes. I was determined in like 98 or whatever, Cheerios was doing you could find different gold medals in your cereal boxes for different events. And I was like, I'm going to get so many of them. And then I got like 10 for yachting. And I was like, who cares about freaking yachting medals? I didn't even know what yachting was. I kept calling it yachting because I didn't know what it
I
was.
thought it was some sort of
Yeah.
needlepoint
I
that
was
like
why is
grandma
there-
used to do.
Why is there a boat? What is this garbage?
Oh, I didn't know what you meant until you said yachting.
Oh, there you go.
That's with the boat, right?
Yeah.
There was a cereal company that
Schooner.
would give you actual movies if you turned in enough things. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that being a thing. You could get like Back to the Future.
Oh,
and I think
man.
even like Burger King might have had VHSs that you could get. Maybe it was
there were-
McDonald's.
There were also
but you could get legitimate movies.
I mean, there's been enough tie-ins with studios for all this kind of stuff. It doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
that
it's,
would be
it's,
a part
the,
of
it's
it.
the decade of the tie-ins for sure.
Well,
the
you got. I
90s.
mean, I think I've brought up Chex Quest on the podcast before.
Yeah, it's out now.
Oh man, that was a great.
There's
tie-in.
also
free to play on Steam.
I remember when Independence Day came out, there was some like CD-ROM that came with it where you can like play or create some of the monsters or something like that. I actually don't remember what you could do with it. I think it was some kind of small game.
Brad probably remembers the Men in Black computer game because I definitely
Did it
played
come with
that.
the movie?
I don't think it came with the movie. It was weird. It did sort of the like the Resident Evil like the fixed camera position as you walk through hallways, so the controls would get kind of weird because suddenly it would like flip, your camera's at the other end and your controls reverse all of a sudden. It was a very awkward game to play, but it was pretty cool.
You would sometimes get like the little disc that was like half the size of a CD.
Yeah.
And CD-ROMs did have like a tray within a tray for those to fit in.
Oh yeah, the bite size.
Yeah, I never really knew that was used for.
They just
GameCube?
needed when you
Yeah,
knew you
I
didn't need that
I think you
much
got like an
space,
episode of a
so
TV show or something in
Yeah.
one of them. But it was like,
Interesting.
this is-
cheaper to produce.
Like, I don't know, but it, you know,
So with Small Soldiers,
Oh yeah, that
movie
movie
tie-in.
what did we think?
Well, we can let's think about what things we claimed in part 1.
Oh, that's a good start.
Yeah.
'Cause at least then we have things to
let's
That's
talk
what a
about-
proper podcast would do.
you know, you'd think, right?
This movie is a who's who of who the hell is that actor?
Cherry O'Terry,
Sherry O'Terry,
Dennis Leary,
Dennis Leary,
Yeah. Phil Hartman.
Bruce
Moore.
Dern.
Bruce Dern.
Yeah, he played one of those small soldiers.
Oh wow, didn't even notice. There's also the guy that was in like the
Frank Langella?
Frank Langella, yeah.
I never know how to say his last name.
And then there was also like who's that guy that was the scientist that Jay Moore and David Cross met with? Like that guy even looked
Robert
familiar?
Picardo.
Oh yeah, from a Star Trek
Trek?
Voyager. Yeah. The Doctor.
He's in a bunch of other Joe Dante films too.
Mm-hmm.
He's in The Burbs. He's in
And then your favorite guy,
Dick Miller.
Dick Miller from
Miller was in
Gremlins,
it, Yeah.
Many 80s
riding that
movies.
tractor. But in this, the semi truck. Trying to think who else.
The mom and dad I don't recognize.
Yeah, the mom.
Yeah.
The main mom and dad.
The mom looks kind of like Jennifer Tilly without being her.
Yes, you are right
Yeah.
about that.
And then the dad is like Al Borland without being Al Borland.
Yeah, he's
The
just
dad is like he's one of
He's Mr.
those
Rumpus.
guys who is just he has like small parts in a million things. Like
Yeah.
he's been around for forever. Like you're very recognizable, but you don't know who he is.
No.
Yeah, it was like him, the Star Trek guy. I was like, I know these people. I just didn't know like where they were from until
Yeah.
you said Star Trek.
Oh, we weren't sure about the graphics and how they were going to look.
I
It's a
thought they were
mixed
all
match.
right.
I
It's a
thought
mix
they
'em
were.
ups.
That was probably
Some good,
the
some bad.
best part of the movie for me. Is it looked pretty good.
I think because they were plastic.
There's part
it
that
made it work.
I mean, there are definitely parts where they're puppets, so we got some puppet action,
Mm-hmm.
and then parts where they're full CG. But the full CG looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
it's doable.
Yeah.
It passes.
They're supposed to move clunky, so they do.
Yeah,
you know?
it worked out. I think. Yeah, I brought up the Toy Story idea of like, oh, if it looks like plastic, make them toys. I think the same idea with this. If like your animation is kind of jerky and stilted anyway, like again, making them toys makes it fine. It makes it work within the universe.
It does take me in and out during the action scenes a little bit.
Mm.
It's like I'm more okay with it if they're just like walking or talking. But when they keep cutting back between like them riding vehicles and then like walking around, it's like I would rather have it be one way or the other. So
yeah, if it's going
I'm
to
in
be
the
a
universe.
sustained scene or something, yeah, it is better that way, I think. But I
Mm-hmm.
was not disappointed. It was pretty good. That was probably the one redeeming quality.
So we were saying that obviously we got Jay Moore and David Cross, right? But we missed Dennis Leary. Is kind of like the head guy.
Yeah, we missed like
Mm-hmm.
the beginning. This toy company like gets bought up by like
by like Raytheon.
yeah,
It's
basically
like Raytheon
yeah.
buys a toy company, so like they make like military stuff, and then like all of a sudden they're like, well, let's like try to smash the two together. Let's make like
Yeah.
a military like sentient.
The CEO's like demanding a new line of toys, so they just like repurpose chips from the military division into the toys, and that's why
This is
they're
where like
crazy
logic
psychos.
just goes out
Yeah,
completely.
it's
They're
just
like,
nuts.
we need in 3 months, we want like a toy that's able to walk and talk and like take in information. Like the Furby just came out and it could barely do any of that stuff.
did either of you ever see the movie Toys with Robin Williams? It's almost like the same premise.
I don't think so.
Where they're working like
With
for
hat
the
and square
military.
and
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
It's like-
really?
it's a toy company or it's a military company that takes over a toy company, and they turn like a video game like flight simulator into an actual like drone simulator and like train kids to fly drones to like do real attacks.
So it's like Ender's Game meets the Last
Ender's Game.
Starfighter.
yeah.
I was thinking of Ender's Game as well.
It's just like so high concept, but I mean,
Interesting.
it's similar to Small Soldiers.
Yeah.
4 years preceded it though.
But we do have the Commando Elites.
And the Gorgonites.
I want to be explained each character what their gimmick is. I feel like everyone's just thrown out there. They try to do it in the first scene with Dennis Leary where they're pitching the ideas for the toys, but they don't have like a good pitch. I wanted Jay Moore to be like, this is Lunatic. He's the demolition guy. And then maybe he does like a line and make recognize the voice actor for a second.
Yeah.
And they go through like each of the toys and like a quick montage sequence of them doing something.
that would
I
have been
think
nice.
you're right. I think there's a lot of scenes in this movie where, like, I don't want to wish this movie was longer because it's
long.
It didn't
It's
really.
over 2 hours.
It is long and it's not that good. But
I tried to look to fast forward it like by 1 speed
Yeah.
or 2 speed.
But at the same
couldn't figure it
time,
out.
I feel like there are so many parts of this movie that could have been improved with just a few more minutes of additional like exposition or content just of what's happening.
I want to feel attached to one of the toys.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of the Gorgonites or any of the small soldiers.
Like,
I'm not
you're-
rooting for any
you're
of them.
supposed to connect with them, the Gorgonites, immediately just because they're like,
They're just
"We
lame.
Don't fight. That's what we
pacifists.
do."
yeah,
You're like,
pacifist, yeah.
That's it.
But they should each have, like, a
that's
power
noble,
or something, like, to go
like
with
they don't
them.
explain them. They each do. They all pretty much have powers, but
One
they
guy
don't get
spins
into
around
it.
a lot. He's like the only guy I can identify with his liking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's their backstory? Why do the Gorgonites and the elite commandos
Fight
have
each
to
other, yeah.
have to fight each other? Like, why are they mortal enemies?
Yeah.
That's never really explained. Even
No.
though they're toys, it's like maybe the toys can actually explain that to the audience.
They should be fighting over something. Like
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 when,
a power crystal.
Even when the,
I'm
when
just
the
making
kid
something
is,
up. Just any MacGuffin.
like oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
When the kid's talking to Archer for the first time, the head of the Gorgonites, even be like, he just have the kid ask, "Why are the elite commandos trying to kill you?" Because he doesn't, and that seems like a goofy oversight. Like, why isn't there a moment where he says, like, "How come they want to kill you?" And he like explains, like, "Oh well." We like he explains the written backstory of like we've been in conflict for years or something, like they're just crazy. It's I don't know.
They should be
not enough.
fighting over like power crystals, and every time like one of them gets them, they like unlock a power. So it's kind of like fun to see like, oh, which Gorgonite and what small soldier like depending on who has the crystal, like what their ability is, or like how they're
that's a
heightened.
cool idea. I like that.
I know, because I'm trying to write a movie. This is what they chose not to do.
Yeah.
The Gorgonite arc is so stupid too. They're pacifists, like you were saying.
Yeah.
They basically say like our goal is to get to Gorgon,
Yeah.
which is a place that doesn't exist. But also like their abilities are to hide, which is like who cares?
Yeah.
And their other abilities to like learn, who cares?
Well, it helped him when he opened up that Encarta 95 or whatever on that machine.
Yeah, he got heavy into U.S. politics from
Oh,
like
man.
1960 on.
I remember using that Encarta software. I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, is this Wikipedia before Wikipedia?
Yes.
It was like Lilu from Fifth Element.
Yeah, it
She was
was.
learning all the terrible
Yeah.
things in the world.
But I was more interested in that scene.
Well, yeah.
That was
Arthur's
also a weird moment
Lilu
because
scene.
they have it's like the Lilu scene, and he like clearly is flipping through like very contentious political like
Yeah, it was like Richard
geopolitical issues.
Nixon, like assassination of
And like the
JFK,
atomic bomb stuff.
atomic bomb.
And like because of Fifth Element, I was expecting him to have that exact same reaction, but he's just sort of like, oh, now I've paused on a picture of a part.
Is that another movie reference that they just like ripped, but out without being like blatant? Like this is like a reference to Fifth Element.
It might have been.
I mean, they're like. They're like collaging
It is.
things
There's
together
bits
from
of
other
every
movies
movie in this, yeah.
consciously and not consciously.
It'd be nice if like Archer was like actively learning to what it was be like to be human, and maybe he gets like more lethargic or like he gets more humanistic or something like that. You get they're
Yeah.
watching TV and like vegging out, and like they don't even want to fight the small soldiers because it's like it's all pointless, and then something has to like kick them back up into gear.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, like
that's
a
what I was
movie
about to
would
get
do.
at. Like their arc is so stupid. It's like they're pacifist, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we got to start fighting, and then they just start fighting.
Yeah.
there's no like
The movie ends.
we're worried, we're scared about this, we don't know how to do it. Like we need a training montage, like some kind of arc
We need
that
fish
shows
out of
they're
water.
working on it instead of just like I'm just not gonna do it, and then now like okay, I guess I'm gonna fight.
And now that I said fish out of water, make them actual fish people.
Whoa.
Change them.
I don't understand. There's so many. Again, the movie moves too fast and yet is too long. We were confused about how they even like get to this toy store or whatever and go home.
There's a lot of off-screen action.
Yeah, they like just they
It's like
they
show me that action.
Yo,
show
let's
up at the
let's
store-
explain that setup. So the main character's dad owns a toy store, and this military toy company that just merged and is making this toy in 3 months. That happens in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, apparently. All of a sudden, the guy that does the regular deliveries, Dick Miller, to the store. He's dropping off some packages. All of a sudden, he has these elite commandos and the Gorgonites, but they're not actually going to be on the shelves until Monday, and it's like Friday or something like that. And so
and like the kid signs for him.
the kid
Yeah.
convinces
It's a long
Joe-
walk for a conceit, for sure.
yeah,
It really
he convinces
is.
him to give him the toys.
Yeah.
And he'll sell them and
Yeah.
then give him the money back, reimburse him later.
Should have just like literally fallen off the truck, and then like the truck driver, or he could have stolen them too, and the truck driver could have been trying to find them again.
yeah.
Stealing
he-
them would have made more sense with his backstory about
Yes.
like
Yeah.
burning down his school and stuff.
Yep. Totally.
But Dick Miller just gives him the toys.
Yep.
And he writes it off as like, oh, they fell off the truck. It's
Yeah.
like, that doesn't develop anybody's character. That just makes Dick Miller look like a bad employee.
And I guess he could have had some motivation to steal the toys, like if he was like trying to impress his
wanted a couple
father,
bucks or something.
I think he could have been trying to impress his father. Like that might have been some good motivation.
Or they're
to-
trying to get a quick buck. I don't know.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Toy Story, the
There's
Toy
Toy
Story's
Story's
like
like
struggling
underwater.
or something. Yeah, it's struggling
it's a
and
little-
he wants to do something. He's like, these are the future. My dad just doesn't get it.
But we're not shown that ever.
That's true. You don't even really know what the toys are at that point.
yeah.
Hey, Joe. Do you think you could, like, front me a set of these?
What?
You know, just sort of lend it to me. You got plenty in the truck.
Yeah. That's Toy World's inventory for the month. This order's paid for. I don't want to get my ticket pulled.
I'll pay you back after I sell them.
Yeah, and what about your dad's policy? No war toys.
Don't worry about my dad. By the time he gets back, they'll all be sold. And this place will have made a little money for once.
I don't know. That's...
What? You saying that never in your entire career has anything just fallen off the back of the truck?
I don't like your tone.
Sorry.
It's too loud. Okay. One whole set. I'll lose the paperwork someplace. It's better than I come back and bite me on the ass.
And they just moved to this town too, and just opened up this toy
Yeah,
store.
that's
Like this is
true.
all they're new in town. And the backstory is that he made a bomb threat at school. and he got
sorted,
expelled.
but maybe didn't. I couldn't understand.
Yeah,
like,
it
they have to,
was
like,
confusing.
backtracking on whether how bad he was, because he just seemed like a normal kid.
Yeah.
He did. There was nothing that made me go like, oh, that makes sense that he would have made a bomb threat.
because
like this is his character.
Right.
He was like overly nice.
yeah, I do remember like a surge of like anarchist kids in the 90s. I could be making that up, but like the Anarchy Cookbook was a thing.
Yeah,
and if it
maybe.
was a kid who was like learning to make bombs or like found this thing and the parents like took it out of context, and then maybe later like the kid does like use something of his knowledge to explode or like
Yeah.
solve the problem, like I
Ooh,
don't
like
know.
he's like blow up the bad guys, and he's like, "But you said I wasn't supposed to do any
Yeah.
of that stuff anymore."
And then like the dad has a bunch of his old stuff that the little kid used to have in
Oh,
a
yeah,
drawer
yeah.
somewhere that he hid from him. It's like, go for it, son.
that would have been interesting. I don't
is
know
your
if Burger
destiny.
King would have liked any of that.
and turns
Well, there
into
could have been like a Whopper in there or something. There could have been like a
he's
tie-in.
like building his bombs and eating a Whopper at the same time.
Yeah,
just,
think of chicken fries on his
Burger King
desk.
is like, all right, we'll look the other way. Is the main character's mom? Is that actually not his mom? I kind of missed that.
I think it's his
Was that
real
his
mom.
dad's girlfriend or his stepmom?
I don't
Because like he hated
know.
her without any
I
explanation.
don't understand the relationships between any of the characters in this movie. Like the only
Nobody seems to like
relationship
each
in this
other.
film that I understand are David Cross and the other guy
Yeah,
who
they
don't
make sense.
who like conflict. They are the only ones that make sense
They're
to me.
yin and yang.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
Dennis Leary's character also makes sense to me because
That's true.
That's exactly every crazy CEO in this. But everyone else, no, I don't understand their dynamics and they're never explained. So we just roll with it.
Yeah, there was like a scene early on where the dad was going off to, I don't know where he was going.
He was
actually,
going
but
on
out of
vacation
town
or something
by himself.
He should have been going to like a toy con or
Yeah.
something, because that's the same thing that happens in the Gremlins with his dad.
Yeah.
But then he showed up like the next day or something like
Yeah,
that.
like, and
he
it was
already
funny because
back.
when he said he was going to have to leave, I was like, oh, we were right about that
Yeah.
at least, because we thought the parents were gone and came back to a destroyed house. But no, they participated in the whole thing. Like, we just forgot they were there.
The dad leaves and then he comes back and there's no explanation
Nope.
like where he went and why he came
Why
back
did he
so
need to
so
go to
quickly.
something anyway? Like,
Yeah, why was that a plot element at all?
Just go ahead and reuse the Gremlins plot of the dad going to some weird toy fair. He figures out the small
Yes.
soldiers or like a
Yes.
technology, and then like when his kid calls him, he's like, "Oh, these are the things I've been reading about." Now he's on board to go help his kid win the battle.
Yeah.
See-
but no, he's just like Grumpus the whole movie.
Man.
They should have made, maybe he should have been more like the guy in Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs. Like he's like a science dad and like he's really into like toys and
could've just been
stuff.
really
He's not
into
just like a
toys,
business
yeah.
owner. Like maybe he knows about making toys and stuff.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like he cares about owning toys. There's one scene where he gets mad at his son for like ruining a boat. Like
Yeah, like a model,
but
like a
that's
large model
kind of
ship.
all just to serve the purpose of him being mad at his son, and not that he cares about toys.
Yeah.
Like there's an element that keeps like being hit upon that like the son is a failure and he keeps screwing up, and like the mom asked him in one scene like, "Oh, did you lock up the store?" And all of a sudden he was like, "Of course I locked up the store. I can't do anything right." And then stormed upstairs, and I was like,
That's a common thing to have
Where
for
did
a
that
kid,
come
though.
from? It came out of
It,
nowhere.
it
and I was
isn't
like-
motivated for the context of the film.
Yeah.
But that does happen in life.
When I saw that scene, I was like, wait, is that his mom or is that his stepmom or is that his dad's girlfriend? Like the way he interacted with her is really weird
way
compared to how he interacted with his dad.
No, I hadn't really thought about it, but you're right. The way the mom is portrayed in general is just strange. Like, she really is sort of treated as sort of a weird...
She's an
like,
afterthought.
it doesn't belong kind of thing until she gets, like, her, air quotes, redemption with the tennis racket and blowing, like, hitting flaming tennis balls back at the soldiers.
How many air quotes are you putting around that?
I mean, all of them.
Because you got to add a lot.
Yeah. It was so, all of a sudden they're like, wow, she did do something right. And I'm like, was she doing things wrong? I don't.
Yeah, she didn't screw up anything.
No. What was there some cut plot line that like she used to be
Probably.
a tennis star once upon a time and like then I don't know, tore an ACL or something and had to
Yeah.
retire and she's bitter about it? What,
Maybe.
It's
what is
possible
this?
because this is they made a movie. They had to cut scenes out at the last minute.
Yeah, who knows what's on
It
the cutting
still
room
ended
floor.
up being 2 hours.
Yeah,
somehow.
it's
Like what was this?
long,
A 3-hour
so-
movie before, and so I think like that's why it doesn't really fit together.
Yeah.
And I did look it up. Joe Dante did not write this.
Oh, okay.
But there
I
were
thought it was-
4 writers.
Yeah, I was saying,
on
I
this
knew there was a
movie.
lot of writers and I thought he was in there, but oh my gosh, this movie's very
It's a mess of a film.
like we were trying to figure out too about if like who gets taken hostage and when and for why and even now, like, I know how that did play out, but I'm still confused by it. The soldiers realize that the kid has the Gorgonites, and they're just like, well, we'll kidnap the girl, and then he'll bring the Gorgonites to us. And I was like, why didn't they just attack first thing? I don't know why.
I don't know.
This weird plan.
They got to make that hostage video reference.
Even before that, they had the weird plan where they launched the bazooka guy at the bike, and he just like climbs around and then just gets ground up in the wheels. And I was like, that was the 15 minutes I'm not going to get back.
It was kind of long. It was kind of long. Yeah, the Barbie doll scene was like Gulliver's Travel in a way.
Yeah.
I did like the visuals of creating the crazy Barbie army.
That was a really awesome sequence. The whole Barbie doll
Bride of
sequence
Frankenstein
was
kind of
really
thing. It was
good.
very cool, very cool.
If anything, like take that piece from the movie.
There's so many different genres that they keep switching into and out of.
Yes.
And some get like really heavy and some get like too cartoony, and they just can't seem to find a lane. They're just trying to do everything at different times, it seems.
Yeah.
And the audience is just kind of taken for the ride, like with the ups and the downs of what's happening.
Yeah. I also feel like the soldiers get way more screen time than the Gorgonites.
They do.
And so, like,
because the Gorgonites don't do anything.
And that just means I just don't care about them. Like, I don't care about the Gorgonites.
They
soldiers
are inactive.
fascinate me.
They are so inactive
Like,
in the film.
the soldiers are, they're crazy. They all look terrifying. Their faces are like crazy, grotesque caricatures of actual people faces. But, like, they're at least interesting characters. The Gorgonites, as far like, just sort of exist, and that's it. That's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, how long does the main Gorgonite stand on that computer desk for in this movie?
Yeah,
I mean, like, you keep revisiting that
he
same
gets licked
spot
by a cat. Okay, that was a lot of that's a lot of work,
I don't know how they shot that.
And then, the one point he goes up onto that power pole and then he falls off it, and I was like, that was a lot too. He did two things. Wow,
He does two things in this film.
He did two. you get two.
Arguably one of the main protagonists of the film does two
nothing.
things and has zero arc.
Yeah.
And he's not good at like rallying his own group of guys. He
just
does
tells
it once.
He's like, we need
when it
to
mattered.
do this, and they're like,
He's so
all
quiet
right.
and mumbly and just
Yeah.
I don't even get like what Frank Langella was like basing that character off of.
No.
I don't know.
That needs to be like the second or third character in that group of Gorgonites, like the old man who's like wise beyond his years,
Yep.
but not the leader.
That's right.
The leader
You-
needs to
you
be
said
like
while-
actively participating in the plot.
Yeah, you had said while we were watching it that there's a Splinter but no Leonardo, and that's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Nobody's pushing the Gorgonites to like do better or go forward. It's okay to like cast doubt, but don't have that character be a part of it. Everyone's just so sheepish. All the Gorgonites are sheep.
Yeah.
That's all they
They should
are.
have cut some of the actual actors out of the movie and made it more about the Gorgonites and the small soldiers. I think cut some of the side.
Don't cut Phil
characters.
Hartman.
Don't cut Phil Hartman.
You can make him a single dad though.
He's repeating.
You might as well have.
You
Jingle
can
All
cut
the
his
Way.
Ambien wife out of the movie and not
Yes.
lose anything.
What a weird choice that
The
was.
small soldiers drug a woman.
Yep.
I was
Drug
like,
a woman.
well, they drug both of them.
They drug both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, and like Kristen Dunst's character has a younger brother that's also in this for like 10 seconds.
Doesn't do much.
He's just there to accompany the drugged up mom, basically.
Yeah, he's just like a whiny child who wanted the small soldier toy for his birthday, and he kept
Yeah.
asking about it, and the main character felt like obligated to give the toy because he wanted to get together with Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst is trying to buy the toys in the beginning of the film. That's her like in to the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, did they know each other before or something?
No,
He's
he's new in school.
he's new
They
in
talk
town,
a little
yeah.
bit about it.
I mean, I
She's
guess
the
the way
cute-
they set it
cute
up
girl
works.
across the
Like
street
she's
or
like
whatever.
taking her younger brother to the toy store to buy.
She's got a cool
present.
boyfriend though. He rides around that moped, that white
Ooh,
moped
that's
from
true,
the
that's
Terminator
true.
movies.
Yeah.
I
He's
know.
got
and
like sweet hair.
Another movie
definitely
reference.
much older
on.
than her.
What a
but then
stud.
they did actually mention that.
There's a moment where Kristen Dunst
She's
is
like,
like,
I only
date
date older
men.
people, and I was like, how old are you?
She's 15. I think she's supposed to be like 15.
I only date statutory rapists.
Is that Andy Moldenhauer talking or Kirsten Dunst
Hey,
talking?
hey! Don't take that out of context.
Speaking of, Andy, do you remember when Christina Ricci had some lines in this movie?
Ching, 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 ching. She was like every single doll.
She was.
I was loving it, and she had good lines too. They were actually like some of the funnier lines
They
in
were.
the movie.
That scene seemed very thought out.
Yes. That one, it felt
that one
like a
made
different
sense.
movie
Yeah.
almost. It was.
But they committed to it. Like we were in that scene. Like we
was
saw everything happen from
stylistic
beginning to
and-
end.
yeah, you
It
understood
told
the
the story of
purpose.
the small soldiers like taking apart one of their own. and like breaking his brain up into the like dumber versions of other toys.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that they were trying to recreate like the 1930s Frankenstein. And then like they had like a little container that like 6 of the Barbie dolls were in, and then they like rose up into like a muffin container or something like that, and turned a switch on. And then they had like the Frankenstein movie in the background, and one of the guys was like, "It's alive! It's alive!"
That whole
it's like
scene
the
was
only
really
good movie reference out of the whole
and
thing.
Well, it's appropriate for the scene.
it works.
They also just out of context punch up that some comedian did for the film.
You've been a bad boy, and now you must be punished. Yeah. Watch out, girls. Hissy fit. You're to die for. Run! She's got a baton. It's a baton death march. She's gone coastal.
That comes up to like the final fight where it's like we struggle to remember anything that happens in it. We literally watched this 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes ago. I still couldn't tell you what happens in this final fight because, one, it's extremely confusing. The geography of this fight makes very little sense.
Yeah, the backyard keeps changing.
People
from
keep,
front yard to
they
backyard,
keep moving
but,
houses like around.
But the camera's still always like facing forward, and you don't get like a sense of like back
they
and
don't.
front.
They don't stick to 180 at all. So you don't know what part of the house you're even looking at. We joke like because all of a sudden at the very end of the film, the porch has collapsed, and we're like, when did that even happen? I don't know. Like. None of that follows at all.
Give me some long tracking shots to figure out the geography of what you're doing or something. That would have been like a cool war shot of like a helicopter like zooming over and like going all around and people fighting in different rooms and things. That would have been sweet.
Yeah, every single line for like the last 30 minutes are all references. Like it was heavy before, and it just goes off the rails there, and it just.
Some of the jokes are so lame. Like the mom's like hitting flaming balls with a tennis racket, and then like the dad's like, "We gotta figure out another solution before my wife gets tennis elbow."
Good form, honey.
He literally says, "Put it in your pipe and smoke it." That's like so cliched.
With the broom.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just so lame. That's like that's got to leave a mark.
That's
level
like when
of reference. Like what? That's so old.
Did I do that?
they run out like they got the crazy nail gun that I'm still terrified.
The nail guns. There's scary things in this movie.
There are, but the guys on there are like nail them. And you're like, oh, okay,
on the nose, everything.
I like when they're like firing like CD discs and using like things like that.
Yeah,
that made a lot of sense.
And they're like C-disc.
That would have been good, actually. Put this in your disk drive and spin it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
But I like that the small soldiers are creative and like using things around them in the world.
They
have a
something,
thing that they do. The Gorgonites don't have a thing that they do.
No.
The small soldiers are on a mission from the moment that Tommy Lee Jones gets out of that box.
I'd be fine with like the Gorgonites communicating with a cat or like animals or something. That'd have been fine.
They seem
Just
to have
do
some
anything.
sort of connection
Get a
with
scene
that
where
cat.
they're riding the cat.
That'd have been great. Why is that not in the movie?
They've referenced this cat so many
That's
times.
a good point.
And the cat only licked Arthur.
Yeah.
And then like kind of moved a little bit when the flaming ball got shot near it.
And it was present in like the speech scene where you see all the other ones, and the cat's just sitting there next to all the other Gorgonites, like it's one of them now.
I know, it's like either use the cat or get rid of the cat.
Yeah.
Here's a fun rewrite. Archer has like a horse type animal that dies. The small soldiers kill it for the first time, so you know they're bad people.
And
But later he does ride the cat, and he's like, it looks like him.
yes.
But then when when Chip Hazard finds all the recruits, that horse is like in one of the boxes and like falls over, and he comes back and saves the day.
Oh,
he can get him back.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, well, I'm writing a movie here.
You put some thought into it, you know?
I'm trying to make things into a character. Archer had
boy.
lost something. He's down in the dumps.
Well, I don't know if we can say like that it's anybody's fault in particular.
No,
we could say it's everybody's fault.
Studio meddling, probably.
Yeah, probably.
It's
a lot of
everybody's
studio
fault.
90s studio meddling.
Yeah. I mean, we can't blame Joe Dante for this.
No.
No, I mean he's a good director.
He did what he was told to, and then what he was told changed.
Yeah. And
then he had to
seems
change
like they shot a lot of movie. Like I have to believe that if this movie was 2 hours with this cut,
There's
there's got to be like an 8-hour version of this movie somewhere.
Didn't they say they that he got rid of a lot of like the last bits of explosions and everything?
They
like,
trimmed out a lot of
like
the...
maybe that's why the
like,
roof was dilapidated.
Yeah, like it sounds like the final fight was a lot more of what I thought it was in part 1 than what it actually turns out to be. Like I would love a director's cut of this movie. I would watch this movie if there was a director's
Joe
cut.
Dante, get with us. We want to talk to you.
Give us that crazy,
Let's see what the movie could have been.
edgy version.
He's
yeah.
not making movies anymore, I'm pretty sure.
But we can, get him on Twitter. I don't know.
Okay,
Send him an
let's hit
email.
him up. Yeah, let's
send
hit
him a
him up.
handwritten note. I don't care how we get a hold
yeah,
of
yeah,
him.
Let's Twitter him. Let's do it. Let's Twitter at him.
Let's do that so that we can finally enjoy this.
Joe Dante. Wow.
I'm kind of glad I revisited this though.
He should have just remade
Yeah.
Gremlins.
You know, like,
that was the intention.
He kind of did.
He tried to.
Yeah.
Even though this movie like wasn't the greatest, it wasn't like so bad that I was just like, ugh, like,
No.
get over it, like just end it. Like I was kind of interested to revisit.
seen
It was
a
kind
lot-
of just things
yeah.
happening.
Yeah,
just
it
was.
and
This
this
is sort
happens,
of-
and this happens, and this happens.
I think it's sort of what came up in our last episode with the 101 Dalmatians of like a boring movie versus a bad movie. This is it's sort of just a boring movie. Like this is a
Yeah.
movie where I'm just like, I didn't get anything out
Yeah.
of watching this.
You're not dragging me in with anything.
It was
here.
made pretty
yeah,
well.
it's like some things kind of
The
work,
effects
but
are
most of the
good,
things don't
but
really
yeah,
work.
yeah, and like if you miss it, like half this movie, you're not gonna actually miss half this movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to be any of the characters in the movie.
Nope.
I don't
You can't
relate
get a
to anybody.
connection.
It's like Gremlins works because the main character is like a college student. And you're like, as a kid, you think that's like an adult and like cool, and then as an adult, you see that as like having problems or he's living at home. There's all sorts of things like associated with that. The kids are just too young in this movie, and then when they change the mood of it, that doesn't fit. It doesn't fit anymore.
Even when you have them that young, like it almost it's a kind of a weird comparison, but I feel like Hocus Pocus is like a similar version.
Well, they have
of this
all the
movie.
ages in Hocus
and
Pocus,
they do have
too.
all the ages, but even then, like the main characters are about the same age, and it works so much better in that movie. Like you feel
Those characters are a little older.
you can
but
reflect to those characters. This one, they've all felt like empty shells.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily think that like Kirsten Dunst and Greg Smith were like around the same age too. Like he looked a little younger than her, and then you had that other guy that like even aged him even younger.
Yeah, that's true.
And they didn't have any like characteristics really. Like maybe Gregory Smith's supposed to be like nerdy since he owns a computer.
Yeah, like maybe.
Well, that's like not enough. Maybe give him like asthma or something. I don't
Or
know.
give us a day where he's like coming home from school and like you see that he's got a specific problem or something at the school.
Neither of them are kids that we would see like around us when we were in school.
Well,
The
we don't
person
get,
didn't exist.
and we don't get any taste of their daily life in order to like find things that we could identify
Yeah.
with them. You start with them in the toy store getting toys and then fighting stuff, and that's it. There's nothing to show you that these kids are like you.
I
if
know
you're
they
a kid.
both like Led Zeppelin and that he owns a computer. That's all I know about
that's
these
it.
characters.
He got Encarta. I mean, we all had Encarta.
There were like
connected.
references that like clearly you're like, okay, like an older person wrote this.
Well, that's what I felt about like the Stranger Things when that came out. It's like, would this like 7-year-old kid have a picture of the poster of the Thing in his room? I don't know. It seemed like a little young, but maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, that movie
honestly,
must have
I
came out like a
pictured
couple
little
years.
Brad having a Thing poster. in
I
his
didn't
room.
know. I had a Lamborghini and I had like a NASA poster.
Ooh, there you
But
go.
that was
Okay.
like the extent of what I had.
I had like a Detroit Pistons poster, and that was
Yeah,
about
that
it.
seems like a sports team makes a lot of sense for a kid to have.
I also had a NASA poster. So I guess we're just not those kids.
No characters are relatable. I don't want to be any of them. None of the small soldiers have unique things that like I can identify with. I don't know any of their names.
The Gorgonites have cool abilities, but they are not ever explained until the fight, and you see them use them, and they're never addressed.
One guy's like strong.
one
And
guy can do the
spins
Tasmanian
around.
devil style thing. Yeah,
One guy swings from a rope.
the
Hunchback guy.
The Star Wars eyeball monster.
I
doesn't
wanted
really
him to
do
have like a
anything.
secret power where he was like maybe like a ninja
Yeah.
or something. He
Or
would-
at least like he could
Do some
be
things.
reconnaissance, looking out the window with that giant eye, and be like, I
Yeah,
can
like he's like a
see
telescope.
forever. Or like, yeah, I don't know. The Hunchback looking guy just makes a Quasimodo, like a Hunchback of Notre Dame reference. That was his one purpose.
Yep.
the Frankenstein guy. I don't really know what he's doing.
I don't know. I don't know. There was nothing to connect with any characters, whether they were toys or people.
I forgot how important the middle part was. The middle part in your hair.
My hair?
No, in
his hair, he
in
had
Greg
that.
Smith's hair.
He had that '90s
In-
boy hair.
In Kirsten Dunst's boyfriend's hair.
Yeah, that
I
was-
was watching Home Improvement yesterday. The main
Oh,
like
JTT had that for
the
sure.
oldest son had that. in there.
The cool friend from Boy Meets World, Sean, he had that middle
The
part.
middle part was so
Dude,
popular.
I was so upset as a kid kid because I could not pull off the middle part.
I
and that
tried
was
to
the hottest
force.
hairstyle.
I tried to force the middle part when I was a kid.
I did too.
It was I was taking a photo for our school, and
Oh, you did a last minute force?
I knew the photographer because she was a mom of one of my friends, and I like tried the middle part. She tried to fix it.
She was like,
and I
"Oh,
was like,
God,
no,
Bradley."
leave it, leave the middle part. And she was like,
All right.
And I saw that photo like lately, and it's like I should have listened to her.
Don't worry, everyone. That's going up on our Facebook for this.
If I can find
you're
it
gonna
again,
see.
it's probably in a.
I actually admire all the goofy, weird photos in
Oh,
elementary
boy.
school.
I go
with
through
the-
that. I see the
with the
evolution of
neon
my bowl
lights.
cuts.
Oh,
and
yeah, the
everything,
bowl
you
cut
know.
was huge.
I had
I had that.
standard bowl cut from like first grade
the-
to like
Yep,
seventh
rat tail.
grade.
The mushroom cut. That's
and then
what it's called.
Seventh
right?
grade is when I started experimenting with my own hairstyles, and I was terrible. I should not have been allowed to do that.
Dude, I hated getting haircuts because like we only went to Bo Ricks and they don't know how to cut hair at all. And so like every time I was always like, I don't want to get a haircut because it's just going to turn out bad and then it's
Yeah,
going
you're
to
just
take a
afraid of
while to
haircuts,
grow
yeah.
it. Yeah, I was like,
I'd always shave my head. I
yeah,
just, like
There
wouldn't
you
even
go.
bother
never
with
done
it.
that. Never done that.
Oh boy.
I'm in the midst of growing out my hair right now.
Maybe get
It's
that
like-
bowl cut.
It's going
Go
straight
bowl cut,
far.
baby.
What's old?
Straight bowl cut.
Get a bowl cut.
I could probably pull
Everything
it off
old
right
is
now.
new again.
Yeah,
Bringing
yeah.
it back.
Zubaz pants, bowl cuts. Let's bring it.
I think the bowl cut actually is coming back.
I hope not.
Get one of those
No,
nylon
I think it
windbreakers.
is. I think they're definitely in Korea, South Korea. The bowl cut is huge, but also you do see some Americans, some like
I hadn't been
Zoomers
thinking
that
about it,
have
but
the
you're
bowl
right. A
cut.
lot of that K-pop, they all have like.
They
those
all have bowl
bowl
cuts.
now,
They're
you're
all
right.
mushroom cuts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Sets the style too, because everyone
terrified.
looks up to them. Once
it
they
actually
like
looks
that hair.
better though.
Well, because they're all gorgeous people.
They
Yeah,
are very good looking. That is fact.
that's
Oh,
true.
man.
I think that's Small Soldiers.
Thank you for joining us on that episode and every episode of our show. The next movie we're doing has the tagline, "History is about to be written by two guys who can't spell." We remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Now, a motion picture so grand, so magnificent, and so vast, it spans 7,000 years.
No way! Yes way!
But it starts with Bill
I'm Bill S. Preston!
Who was Joan of Arc? And Ted,
Noah's wife? We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow.
a force from the future,
Can we go anywhere we want at any time?
You can do anything you want.
is putting history at their fingertips.
Let's reach out and touch someone.
They're traveling through time,
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Excellent!
Execute them.
Bogus! How's it going, dude?
and they're making a big impression.
Historical babes.
Now they're home
Everybody get together, remember who your buddy is.
to trash the 20th century.
You got a live one here.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Napoleon,
We're from history.
Billy the Kid,
Oh my god!
Joan of Arc, Sigmund Freud,
Tell me about your mother.
You a musician?
Beethoven,
Genghis Khan!
Abraham Lincoln,
Party on, dudes!
Socrates, George Carlin,
We're history.
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Bill and Ted's
Excellent! Excellent!
Excellent Adventure.
Party on, dude.